Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm the Near Mint Nerd here on the I Got Issues channel, and it's Review Friday. So today I will be reviewing as you know, if you saw my Wednesday haul, which is my new comics haul, this was my book of the week, and I try to review my book of the week on Friday. So that's what we're doing today. I've got a real, you need to settle in, because this is not going to be short. This is going to be a lengthy review. So if you're ready, here we go with our review. The end. Okay, settle down. Okay, that's fine. Listen, here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of the Power Rangers, it turns out. I have no real history or link to them, and in reading this comic, I didn't find that I, was able to relate to them at all. I mostly got it for the Justice League angle, but even that was, there was just nothing there. Didn't enjoy it. Don't want to dwell on it. I understand that a lot of you are big fans of the Power Rangers. My many apologies. It just did not hit for me. Anyone who watched my Wednesday video will remember that I actually chose this comic at the last second as Book of the Week. I actually intended to make Felix Leiter, 007, James Bond 007, Felix Leiter #1, my Book of the Week, right up until the last minute. And I switched it out and put that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now swap it back in, make this my Book of the Week, and my Review of the Week. So this was by James Robinson. It's #1 of 6. It features Felix Leiter, who, if you know from the James Bond universe, is a CIA agent who is best friends with 007, his counterpart across the pond, as it were. This comic, I think the comics are actually following the books maybe a little closer than, any of the movie adaptations, which is, totally fine. It's just that I didn't really recognize this Felix Leiter that's in this comic, because the movie versions have always been so different. That's not to say, it's bad or anything like that. I'll give you my impressions at the end. I just want you to know that I even though I know the Felix Leiter character very well from the movies, I didn't recognize him, and it was very new to me in reading this comic, and there's nothing wrong with that. You'll notice from the cover that they're using Josh Holloway's likeness. He plays Sawyer on Lost, and I think he's in a science fiction show called Colony now. And then it looks like Angelina Jolie's likeness up here in the corner is playing the villain. Although inside she looks much different. I'll just kind of give you a quick rundown on the story, and then we'll dive into the review. Please understand that there's going to be spoilers. I'm going to even put up the final page. I'm going to show a bunch of pages throughout the course of the review. If you haven't read it, go, hit pause, go read the comic, come back, or if you don't care, then let's get going, and it'll be great. This is only #1, so even if I spoil #1 for you, there's 5 more issues, lots of story to go. So the idea here is that Felix Leiter is kind of a broken man when we pick him up. He's in Tokyo. He has a kind of a bionic arm and a bionic leg, which is very James Bond, but very strange for Felix Leiter. Unless this takes place after that Timothy Dalton movie where he got eaten by the sharks. So maybe that's actually like where this one kicks off. Anyways, he's kind of wandering through Tokyo. He's no longer with the CIA. He's now a private investigator. He's got his own. He used to be with the Pinkertons. Now he's moved on to his own investigative office. And he's been hired to come and find somebody in Tokyo. So we pick him up on the rainy streets of Tokyo as he makes his way to this little bar. And it's funny, we have the bar scene with James Bond. He's going to order a martini. We find out here that Felix Leiter is he's more of a Scotch man. So he's at this bar. He's keeping an eye on this woman. Her name's Elena Davoff. or as he calls her, the unknown woman. I guess there's very little anyone knows about her. She's been scratched out of all the records. She's kind of made herself disappear, and he's been hired to locate her and bring her in. What we learned during the course of this time when he's sitting at the bar, keeping an eye on her, she's sitting with some Japanese businessman off in the corner, is that her and Felix had a relationship. They were lovers. We don't know how deep that goes, but it seems to be pretty serious, judging by some of this art. And he kind of reflects on that a little bit, gets lost in those memories, and when he looks up again, she's gone. She's gone from the bar, and he kind of curses himself. He's clearly a little he's lost it. He's lost a step. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of rushes out into the streets of Tokyo to find her. He spots her and he tracks her into an alley, and that's when she reveals that, you know, she kind of drew him there. She knew he was there the whole time, and she drew him in, and she's kind of like giving him a hard time about it, saying things like, you know, you've lost it, man. I knew you were there the second even before you went in the bar, she says. And he says, I'm sorry, I got to bring you in. And she, you know, she's not going with him. She's got a gun trained on him. And Felix Leiter leaps into action. They have a little fight sequence in the street here. And then she kind of like just leaves him alive and disappears. I don't know why she doesn't finish him off. Maybe we'll find out in the later issues. But it seems like in the end she kind of lets him go. So he goes back to his hotel, and he's wondering what happened. He hired, he didn't hire. He was expecting a guy named Tiger Tanaka. I think he's maybe the head of the police in Tokyo, and his men to be there to give him support to bring her down. He mentions in the bar, he calls him and says, I hope you're on the way. He never showed up. I forgot to mention that. So now he's in his hotel room, and he starts reflecting again. He looks back at his past a little more, and this takes us to Key West, Florida, where he is having a conversation with James Bond himself. And this is where James Bond actually gives him the artificial leg and arm that are kind of upgrades on what he's wearing. I guess they're kind of some sort of, special, probably from Q. They probably got some upgrades or whatnot. So they're out on the Keys just kind of having a conversation. He's drawn out of this memory by the phone ringing, and it's Tiger on the phone, the police chief, and Felix is like, what happened, man? Where were you? You were supposed to be there. I had her. She got away because you weren't there. And Tiger says, well, we had our own problems tonight. And Felix says, why? What's going on? And Tiger says, did you hear about the terrorist attack at the Tokyo Metropolitan Government offices? And Felix says, no, what happened? And the final page reveal is this office building, and it's just littered with dead bodies. There's clearly been some kind of toxic biochemical attack or something, and it's killed everyone. It's actually a pretty effective double page spread, and that's where this comic ends, and we'll pick up in issue 2 presumably. I really like this. The thing is, this felt very slight to me. I think this is going to read much better in trade, because when I hit that double page spread that ends the issue, it felt like I had just started reading the comic. And when I saw that double page spread, I thought to myself, okay, now we're cooking. And I turned the page, and there was no more story. So I was kind of like, I was like flipping through more pages, because there was like, some preview pages of another James Bond comic. I thought, oh, the rest of the issue must be behind that. It wasn't there. And I went back, and sure enough, it's a full comic. It's just very slight. Very little happens. The confrontation in the bar, the little fight in the street, goes back to the hotel, and the end. So, not to say it wasn't good. I really did enjoy it. But it didn't feel like a complete opening chapter to me. It felt like a sliver of a hint of a start of a story. It kind of felt like what you would expect from a preview of a story to be. It felt like I read 4 pages, and it was just enough to whet my appetite to go buy the issue. So I think I may continue. I think I may wait for the trade on this one now to read the rest, because it just seems like a long wait to get the rest of what feels like a very slight story. An effective story and a good story, but a slight story. I thought the writing was really good. You know, Felix Leiter, he didn't feel like... You know, my frame of reference is, again, the movies. Didn't feel like that to me. And I feel like that held me back a little bit. Also, because he looked so much like Josh Holloway, I had Sawyer's voice in my head the whole time. That's the trouble with photo reference. So I did like it. I'm very intrigued to find out more about the woman in the background, and it looks like there's a big story to come here. It's just I don't think I got enough, and for that reason alone, I'm going to give the issue a 3 out of 5. I think if it had been a little bit longer, a little bit more substantive, it would have got to 3.5 or 4. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I bet when I read it again in trade form, I bet those concerns will be gone and it'll get a higher grade because it is quite a good book. But for now, 3 out of 5 on James Bond 007, Felix Leiter, number 1. Please subscribe, leave a comment, chew me out. That's totally fine. Hit the like button if you like. And we'll see you again next week. I got a massive haul. Can't wait to show it to you. Have a great weekend. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you later. Near Mint Nerd, signing off.